Hi everyone, my name's Jason. I'm with my good friend Annie, and we're going to film our second episode on how to get into health profession schools. And so, yeah, I'm going to let Annie introduce herself.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Annie, and I just graduated from UC Davis with a BS in Human Development and a minor in Psychology. And I will be going to Tufts for the OT program in the fall.
Would you mind telling us how you were interested in becoming an occupational therapist?
It's actually a compilation of things experiences throughout my life. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it started from, a desire or a passion to want to help people.
Right.
And that I feel like stemmed from personal experiences in my life and losing close ones to me and wanting to do that or go into helping people.
Right.
And I initially wanted to be a teacher. I got some internships in Davis, and then I realized that isn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
So my sister is an RN at a nursing facility, so I got to shadow some of the therapists there. So I got to see some PTs, some OTs, and some speech therapists, and I kind of just got to see what they did day to day and figure out if I was interested in any of those, because obviously I didn't want to be a teacher.
Right.
I guess what OTs do, for me, what I think of an OT is helping people be able to do things that bring meaning into their lives, giving them the skills and helping them rehabilitate so they can perform those things that mean a lot to them. And to me, that's why I chose OT.
Awesome, that's a great answer. So that kind of segues to the next question. So would you be able to describe the difference between OT and PT?
Yeah, actually, I was talking to my friend earlier today, and she was saying a difference to her, the differences between OT and PT is that PT is kind of how the body works, and OT is kind of what your body does. Whereas when I think of PT, I think of more big motor movement or motor movement, right. So walking and things like that, whereas OT is more focused on fine motor movement. When I think of OTs, because I've done a couple internships at the med center, and it's just gaining those skills so you're able to say open a jar of peanut butter, right. Or buttoning your shirt. So learning those movements depending, I guess, on the type of injury that you've had, and just really focusing on how you can regain those skills to do those activities of daily living. So that's a main, I guess, vocabulary in OT is activities of daily living. So that's something that OT is really focused on. A lot of things, I guess, in your life, you don't really think about, going to the bathroom and right. Cooking and doing those little things.
So in order to apply to occupational therapy programs, what are some of the prerequisite courses you'd have to take?
Well, it definitely varies depending on what schools you want to apply to or what programs. Mm-hmm. For me, I took classes abnormal psychology, developmental psychology, definitely physio and anatomy, and some of them required the labs, both of them or just one of them. Right. Also, I took, what did I take? Oh, statistics. Okay. But some also require physics and some other science classes, but like I said, it's a big variation between different programs. So you definitely have to do your research to make sure that you do the prerequisites for the different programs that you want to apply to.
Are there any exams that are required for you to kind of enter the program?
Yes, the GRE. So that's the only exam that you're going to need to take.
Okay.
And some actually don't require the GRE, but some do. So it just depends on your program. So, yeah.
So how did you prepare for the GRE in my time?
I just bought a book, and I studied, and I took the exam. And I took it during the quarter, so fall quarter. So I would not suggest doing it during school because it is very, very stressful. I took it more than one time. So definitely, if you plan on applying, definitely start studying over the summer. Okay. Prepare for it. And there's also classes you can take. I didn't take a class because I was kind of late in the game of studying. But yeah, definitely that is a resource.
So how is the application process like? So for med school, there's AMCAs, which is a centralized application system that distributes your application to all the schools you're applying to. Is there a centralized system as well for occupational therapy programs?
Yes, it is the OTCAS. So OTCAS, that is the general application. But like I said, it is depends on your program. Like Tufts didn't require the OT cast,
Okay.
but a lot of other schools do require, and some require their separate application and also the OT cast. So like I said, it depends. But yeah, for the OT cast, you have like you input a personal statement in there, all your classes and your GRE scores and stuff like that, and that's also open during the summer, so you can start that.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things to take note of when you're applying is that because the applications are due during different times for the different programs,
Right.
so when you turn it in the first time, you can't edit anything.
Okay.
Definitely not the personal statement. Maybe, I don't know if you can do classes, but definitely not the personal statement. So when you submit in your first one, if you say due in like November, definitely make sure that it is
Polished and everything.
Yeah.
So is it kind of, do you get like secondaries and whatnot? Okay.
So it is just the OT cast. Like some require the OT cast and their supplemental application,
Okay.
or some just don't require the OT cast at all.
So for applications, is there a rolling admission process as well, like for all the other health professions?
It depends on the school. Like for San Jose I applied to, it is rolling admission, so it opened up in October and it closed up in March. But it's kind of like a first come, first served basis. So say you apply in like January, it could be completely full by then.
Wow, okay.
So it, like I said, it depends on your school. So make sure to do a lot of research on the programs that you want to apply to. But yeah, some are on a rolling basis and some aren't.
Okay. So as an undergrad, what extracurriculars were you a part of, and what do you suggest for people that want to pursue OT? Like what extracurriculars would you suggest for them?
For me, I was a part of Relay for about 2 years, and I also did some volunteer work. I was also at Best Buddies, and I gained some volunteer work from there. So I worked with like children, helping them swim, and I also did internships at the Med Center. So there's different departments for OT, such as like inpatient, outpatient, and acute patient care. So if you are interested in OT, you should definitely take an internship to see if that's really something that you want to do and want to invest the time in applying to and whatnot. But I would, I don't think they particularly look for
one specific
like extracurricular. I just feel like you should be involved and like, probably working with people and working as a team, so they know that you are able to work well with other people and also communicate with other people, because that's also really important.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think there's a specific specific club that you have to join. But also Davis has a pre-OT club.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Davis has a lot of like clubs and whatnot for anyone that's interested in any healthcare profession.
Yeah, but the pre-OT just actually got started up like this following year.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty new.
So how long are occupational therapy programs generally?
I would say it's generally around 2 years.
Okay.
My program is 2 years, and I have 6 months of field work afterwards.
Wow, okay.
But there's some programs that are 3 years, so they're trying to take it more slowly, but that's obviously if you want to pay more for that, an additional third year. But I feel like they're generally 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, and you have your additional field work afterwards.
Okay, so is field work kind of like an externship where like you work at a hospital?
Yeah, so I feel like hopefully it's like where you eventually want to work in the future, and that's where you'll be placed, and then you'll be doing that for probably like 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, at least my program's 6 months. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what are some things that you were considering when you were applying to these programs? Like, did you consider like weather, or how close in proximity to like, I guess, cities and whatnot?
When I first applied, I visited Boston University, which is the first OT program that I applied to, and I really, really fell in love with Boston. So I really wanted to live in the city and live in a new environment. I feel like as a, someone that's young, it's probably one of the, it's a good opportunity and time of your life to just go explore and live in a new place. But also I looked for the length of the time and the price, because depending on the school, they're expensive as really expensive.
Yeah. So the next question would be, what resources were available for you to use when applying to schools? Did you use blogs, websites, coworkers, or advisors?
So one of the main websites that I used was the AOTA. So that's the National OT website, and on there they have a list of all the schools from like all the different states, and I use that kind of as a pinpoint of what schools I kind of wanted to apply to.
Right.
Like I can cross off like states that I definitely do not want to live in,
Right.
and then from there it links you to the different websites to the schools, and I was able to kind of research more on the program, how long it was, how much it was going to cost, and what the prereqs were, and I was kind of able to pick and choose like which programs I wanted to apply to.
So a lot of people, when applying to graduate school, they kind of, I guess they worry about finances. So were there any financial aid opportunities for you when you applied to these occupational therapy programs?
Yes, but the unfortunate thing is that for grad school, you don't get any grants or anything like that. They offer you loans, a lot of loans, but that to me was the main financial aid that I got for my program. But through Tufts, you're able to input your FAFSA information as well. So I got a scholarship. It's not the biggest, but
Right.
it definitely helps. But like I said, it depends on your school. They probably have their varying different types of scholarships. Whether it's need-based or academic-based.
So the next question would be, how does occupational therapy play in the fabric of healthcare?
So occupational therapy plays into the whole healthcare system, I guess through the whole rehabilitation process. So you'll come across a lot of patients that have had spinal cord injuries and had strokes, and through that there's a whole intensive rehabilitation process afterwards of either like physical therapy, sometimes speech therapy, and sometimes occupational therapy, and where PT is focused on things such as walking and those gross motor movements. OT is focused on the activities to provide you the skills to be able to do your activities of daily living again.
That's a great answer. Lastly, what is some advice you would like to offer to people interested in applying to occupational therapy programs?
So my biggest advice is to start early. You don't want to run out of time and not turn in an application that you're really proud of.
Right.
And you want to give yourself enough time in case you come across any mistakes or if you have questions. I would also suggest doing your research, making sure that you know what the schools want, the prerequisites. You don't want to find out that you want to apply to this certain program and it requires physics and you haven't taken physics yet. So definitely do your research and also ask them questions. The programs that I've applied to or was interested in, they're really nice with emailing back and answering all my questions that I had. And sometimes at Davis they have people from different OT programs come and give presentations of their program. So keep an eye out. I feel like through the ICC they should send out emails about that.
Right.
And also another thing that I would suggest is to study for your GRE early. I didn't study for mine too early. I took mine during fall quarter of my senior year, and that was super stressful. So make sure if you have time over the summer, start studying. And if you're not happy with your score, make sure you have enough time to sign up again and take it again, and making sure also that you have enough time to send your scores to the programs.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Annie, for participating in our video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.